Separation of church and state isn't an American invention, with the concept being put forth by various Enlightenment philosophers like John Locke in the 1600s. The exact phrase, a wall separating church and state, though, has however been attributed to Thomas Jefferson, and while the closest the U.S. Constitution comes to it is the First Amendment's restriction that Congress would make no law respecting an establishment of religion, it's a restriction that ironically was put in so Baptists did not have to fear government interference in their right to expressions of religious conscience. And while Christians are the largest religious force in America at almost 50% of the population, less than half of those are Catholics. And that group can range from the far left to the far right just as easily as any other. Joe Biden, for example, the current president of the United States, yeah, that's a fact, isn't just a Catholic, he's a good Catholic. That's official. The Pope has said so. And Justin Trudeau, a once lapsed Catholic, rejuvenated his faith after his brother's death in an avalanche in 1998 and his father's death in 2000. You know, the completely unreported reason the Trudeau family goes to Tofino every year at the end of September between the anniversary of his father's passing and his dead brother's birthday. So clearly, like JFK, there are Catholics quite able to separate church from state. Then there are people like William Barr and Andrew Scheer, both of whom have flirted with the Catholic cult made famous in Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code, Angus Day, the sort of Catholics that comedian Jim Gaffigan calls Shiite Catholics. But while only 17 Catholics raised or practicing have ever sat on the Supreme Court of the United States through history, it might surprise you to know that 6 of those 17 currently occupy the highest court in the land, 6 being a solid majority of the 9 currently sitting justices on the U.S. Supreme Court. Catholics who have demonstrated a mission to promote and defend their faith and their God ahead of their oaths to defend their nation and uphold the Constitution and the law of their land. And it shows. Even Neil Gorsuch, who identifies now as an Episcopalian, or Anglican as we would say in the rest of the world, was raised Catholic, and his arguments and dissensions clearly skew to the right, often in lockstep with other Catholics on the court, particularly for denying abortion and gay rights. So while Catholics barely make up a fifth of the American population, they control 2/3 of the Supreme Court, a critical pillar in the checks and balances under the American experiment. And their dogma is ruling the day and paving the way for the walls separating church and state to come tumbling down. On this day in 1963, the BBC broadcasted An Unearthly Child, starring William Hartnell. This was the first episode of the first story from the first series of Doctor Who, which is now the world's longest-running science fiction drama. That reminds me, I need to refill my prescriptions for narcolepsy. Ha ha! Who burn? It's also Espresso Day, Fibonacci Day, Eat a Cranberry Day, and Cashew Day. Bless you. Thanks. What? And that's today's Duza Bear Digest. See you tomorrow.